A very warm welcome to all the aspirants of UPSC and other government exams to the innovative channel Syllabus Coach, which has been presenting the unique series to revise and revisit NCRTs in a span of less than 10 minutes. So these are the unique features of our Syllabus Coach, friends. So join the Telegram group if you would like to follow our NCRT quizzes and daily MCQs on current affairs. So let's quickly dive into the chapter 5 today, Panchayat Raj of Class 6 Polity. Friends, this chapter Panchayat Raj is very important. Syllabus Coach quickly takes you to UPSC prelims syllabus, where in the domain of Indian polity and constitution governance, there are five key topics in that. Panchayat Raj is one of the crucial topics. So I have taken a lot of time and research on this particular video so that I would be able to not just give you the constitutional perspective of the Panchayat Raj system, but also be able to give you the grassroots level idea of the Panchayat Raj system, and that too through MCQs and question and answer model. So the syllabus coach now also relates this lesson to the UPSC main syllabus, that is separation of powers between various organs, dispute redressal mechanism and institutions. Institutions plays the key word here, friends. So now I am here trying to link this topic to two recent prelims questions, that is 2015 and 16. So friends, in 2015 there is this prelims question, you can read this. The fundamental object or objective of Panchayat Raj system is to ensure which among the following. So friends, I would say all these four, if you observe, are present in the Panchayat Raj, but they are asking, this is the key word. That's why UPSC prelims is very tricky. The key word is fundamental. What are the fundamental objectives? So in our earlier lessons, if you remember, I have said that people's participation and development and democratic decentralization are the two innate features in any democracy. So obviously they also percolate into the Panchayat Raj system. But if you come to these two things, financial mobilization is also present in Panchayat Raj through local taxes. But yes, but no, that is not a fundamental objective. Political accountability is like elected executive, that is MLAs or MPs being accountable to parliament or state legislature. That is also present in Panchayat Raj through Gram Sabha. But no, that is not a fundamental objective. So answer is C, 1 and 3. So friends, this is a very high level understanding of the Panchayat Raj system. Only when you read NCRT lessons and try to analyze it and discuss it with your friends, only then you can answer these kind of questions. It's not like you just go through the test series available in the market and try to analyze these things. No, it's not so possible. So you have to read the NCRT lessons. Coming to the 2016, this is not from UPSC Civil Services, but it is through UPSC CDS exam, friends. The 11th schedule of the Constitution of India distributes powers between, yes, the answer is state legislatures and panchayat. I would suggest all of you to read Article 40, because Article 40 is the primary article which was enshrined in the 1950 constitution, which talks about the government to start the Panchayat Raj. But it took about 42 years after several committees have suggested the government. Only in 1992, through the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, the 11th schedule has come in and the Panchayat Raj systems have started. So now coming into the UPSC relevance mains, I have taken a single question of the recent one. Assess the importance of Panchayat Raj system in India as a part of local government. Apart from government grants, what sources panchayats can look out for financing development projects? So friends, here I wanted you to give to a structure, because now you have listened quite a good videos. You should have written mains answers, whatever I'm telling you in every video. So now I want to give a structure to all of you so that you can follow this in your mains answers and improvise your answer writing skills. So for this answer, as an intro, you can mention the key constitutional provisions like the amendments of the Panchayat Raj and the key constitutional articles, which will be around 243 articles, friends. So mention those articles, and then coming to the body. So as asked in the question, underline the keywords which are asked in the question, and then try to analyze those things in your answer. So the importance of panchayat bodies has to be dealt with. The sources of finance has to be dealt with. Further, there are key articles, friends, like 243I, etc. So mention those articles. Find out what are the challenges or bottlenecks in implementation. You should mention, that is very important. And then you have to come up with your own solutions. Are there any other sources of fundraising? Are there any new solutions? Are there any case studies which you have learned through Yojana or any daily newspaper. And then finally, you can give a very good and attractive conclusion, either with a good solution that is called way forward, or quote like Mahatma Gandhi's idea of panchayat system, Mahatma Gandhi's idea of Varda education, village level administration, or a government vision statement from the recent policies. Or you can go to Panchayat Raj and Rural Development. This is also a good idea. You can go to the ministry websites and also find out any vision statements or any stats, etc. And you can conclude it on a hectic note. So, friends, quickly coming into the questions of this particular lesson. What is Gram Sabha, friends? Gram Sabha is nothing but a meeting of all the adults that is 18 years of age who live in that area. So it is headed by a panchayat president who is also an elected person who we all know as Sarpanch. So who can vote for panchayat elections? Yes, anybody above 18 years are eligible to vote. Are panchayat elections direct or indirect? Yes, friends, they are direct elections. Who is responsible for calling Gram Sabha and keeping a record of proceedings? Friends, he is called as village secretary. He is not an elected person. He is an appointed by government. Yes, he writes a government exam. Every state will conduct an exam for village secretary. In some states, he is called as a panchayat secretary. So this is the hierarchy of the government officers present in the Ministry of Rural Development. You can have a look. So the panchayat secretary comes here, also called as the Gram Sevak. Above him lies the block development officer, also called as MPDO. Above lies the district level officer called as the CEO. He is generally an IAS cadre officer. So what is the role of Gram Sabha, friends? I would not explain every point. You can read these things, but I would like to say when you ask what is the role of Gram Sabha, the most important word is accountability, friends. The other things you can read easily. So here I have also attached a photo where there are committees. So every village Gram Sabha forms committees with its own villagers like construction development, etc. And they try to design the plans and monitor the implementation as well. So friends, I have researched the internet and found this APRD Wikipedia website. Please go to this. APRD is AP Institute for Rural Development and Panchayat Raj. So I would suggest all the states, whether you belong to any part of India, any state of India, I would suggest you to go through this. This is in English. And why this is important? You can anywhere read about the constitutional relevance of Panchayat Raj, but I felt this website is very crisp, and through very good illustration images you will be knowing the grassroots governance, how the panchayat raj and the villagers work there. So I would suggest all of you to go to this website and have a reading. List some activities being done by the gram panchayat. They do a lot of activities: water management, collecting taxes, check dams, etc. So yes, they are answerable to the gram sabha. How many levels tiers of government in India? Three levels. Why three levels were formed? Again, friends, there should be more space for the voices. There should be participatory and inclusive democracy. That is called the concept of decentralized governance. Who can frame laws regarding panchayats? Yes, the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act has put into effect Article 40, and thereby the state legislatures have all the powers to form laws regarding panchayats and also regarding panchayat elections, friends. There was also a UPSC prelims question: who has the powers to conduct the elections of panchayats? So the answer is state government. But there are guidelines of the constitution under the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendments Act. Only within these guidelines the state governments can frame the laws. What is the function of Jilla Parishad? Developmental plans at the district level. So who is the head of the Jilla Parishad? The chief executive officer, who is the cadre of an IAS rank. Was panchayat system constitutionally present in all states in India since 1950? No. We have discussed recently it was only in 1992 that they have come into effect. So yes, now coming to the comment section, I want every aspirant to give answers in your comment section for these two things so that you can pool your knowledge and know what all different kinds of activities are being done by Gram Sabha in your villages across all states of India. So take a quiz now, real-time quiz, friends, on this particular lesson. Go right now into the Telegram group. So all the best aspirants, subscribe, like and share. Get ready for the next lesson, rural administration. It's also very important lesson. So if you like this, like it and share with all your aspirants who wants to be benefited.